What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be having a deep look at the stopping power field upgrade in Modern Warfare. I'm going to be sharing exactly how it works, as well as which guns you should avoid using it on, and which guns it's best to use on. So let's just hop right into the breakdown, and the first thing to cover with stopping power is it is the slowest charging field upgrade in the game. In Team Deathmatch, assuming you're not getting any kills or any score, it's going to take you a total of 3 minutes and 37 seconds to charge this, which is quite slow. Now, of course, you can speed this up by getting kills and playing the objective. That will cut that time down, but just know that it is the slowest in the game. Now, as for how it works, when you activate stopping power, you will reload your gun, and you're going to get a magazine full of stopping power rounds. Although it's not always a full magazine, if your magazine is 30 rounds or less, you get a full magazine of stopping power rounds. If your magazine is bigger than 30 rounds, like the LMGs for instance, it will only be the next 30 bullets that you fire that will be stopping power rounds. And that's just to keep things balanced, so with a PKM for instance, with a 200 round extended mag attachment on there, you can't just get 200 rounds of stopping power, because that would be way too overpowered. Now, I should also note that if you fire a few shots of those stopping power rounds and then reload your gun, you still get the remaining stopping power rounds within the next magazine. So let's just say I fire 10 out of my 30 stopping power rounds and then I reload my gun, the next 20 shots are still going to be stopping power. Then they will just suddenly transition into non-stopping power rounds. Additionally, when you load these stopping power rounds in, it's worth noting that this does not take from your ammo reserves. This gives you 30 new rounds. So it's also kind of nice if you're in a situation where you're really low on ammo, but you have stopping power charged up, you can just pop that and you get up to 30 extra rounds depending on your magazine capacity. Because like I said, if your magazine is smaller than 30 rounds, you only get that one magazine worth of stopping power rounds, so you don't get 30 total. Now, getting into the important stuff that you guys are probably here for, what do stopping power rounds do? Well, they boost your damage against enemy players. And this isn't a flat increase across all of the guns. For most of the guns, you get a 1.3 to 2 times multiplier to your damage against enemy players. However, there are a couple exceptions here and there. Essentially, the way that they've balanced this for each individual gun is they made it for almost all of the assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, and pistols. Stopping power rounds will mean it'll take you 1 fewer shot to kill with that gun than you would without stopping power rounds. So if the gun is a 4-shot kill without stopping power rounds, it's now going to be a 3-shot kill. Now, the only exceptions to these within this category is going to be the M13. You can actually get a 3-shot kill up close rather than a 5-shot kill, so it actually helps by 2 bullets up close, which is really nice for the M13. And another exception is the MG34 LMG. Stopping power rounds appear to have no impact whatsoever on the number of shots it takes to kill. It's 3 shots to kill without stopping power and 3 shots to kill with stopping power. So right there you can see the MG34 is the first gun that you definitely don't want to be using stopping power rounds on, because it's just going to make things worse for you and it doesn't help at all. Now, another really important thing to point out with stopping power rounds that's a little bit strange is it doesn't stack with headshot multipliers. In fact, stopping power rounds don't change your headshot damage at all. And in some cases, this will actually mean that if you're using stopping power rounds, you'll end up dealing more damage to the body than you will to the head, which is very, very strange. A great example of this is the first 2 guns that I would highly recommend using stopping power rounds on. This is the FAL as well as the Odin. With these guns, with stopping power rounds, you can get a 1-shot kill to the upper torso, which is pretty incredible. Now, even though these will be a 1-shot kill to the upper torso with stopping power rounds, they still won't be a 1-shot kill to the head. So you're actually better off shooting them in the chest than you are in the head with those guns. Next up, another really important characteristic of stopping power that is often overlooked and a lot of people aren't aware of is stopping power rounds will increase your recoil pretty considerably. Based on my tests, it looks like it increases your total recoil by roughly 40 to 50%, which is a massive increase to your recoil. And this means there are absolutely downsides to using stopping power rounds as well, and you do have to be using them very carefully. So if you're trying to challenge people at range with stopping power rounds on a full auto gun, in a lot of situations, you're actually better off without stopping power, because then you're going to be more accurate and you're more likely to hit your shots. Whereas with stopping power, especially if those targets are using cover, so they're exposing a very small amount of their body, you might hit the first shot or 2, but the rest are more likely to miss. Up close though, this recoil is generally not nearly as much of a concern, so I would recommend stopping power rounds more for people that want to be aggressive and playing more close quarters. So overall, for these standard categories of weapons, the SMGs, assault rifles, LMGs, and pistols, there are a couple guns that I absolutely wouldn't recommend using stopping power on. The first one is, like I said, the MG34. It doesn't change the number of shots it takes to kill. Also, the FR556. I don't recommend stopping power rounds on this because even though it does make it a 2-shot kill rather than a 3-shot kill, the FR556 is a 3-round burst. And with that increased recoil, you really notice it on this gun. And I find more often than not, I'm just missing my bursts completely. And I would much rather have an accurate burst of 3 rounds that's still going to be a 1-burst kill than a very inaccurate burst of 3 rounds where I have to land at least 2 of those, but they're kind of flying all over the place. So those are the 2 normal sort of guns that I would say stay away from stopping power rounds. And on the other side of that, the best ones of these guns to use stopping power rounds on are going to be the FAL and the Odin. Make sure you're shooting for that upper chest multiplier and you'll get those 1-shot kills up close at least. And also the M13, just play aggressive with it, keep yourself up close and personal, and it actually reduces the number of shots it takes to kill by 2 in these situations, which is excellent. For all of the other guns in this category, I would say that stopping power rounds are generally not worth it for me. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's a horrible choice. It's just kind of based on preference. Now, moving on to the Marksman rifles, things get a little bit different with stopping power on Marksman rifles and sniper rifles. The first one we're going to look at is the EBR-14, and you absolutely want to be using stopping power rounds on this because it turns this into a 1-shot kill to the upper torso at all ranges, which is excellent. You'll just go around one-tapping everybody. This is one of the best guns to use stopping power rounds on. As for the Mark II, up close, stopping power rounds have no impact whatsoever on the Mark II. It's a 1-shot kill to the upper torso without stopping power rounds, and still a 1-shot kill to the upper torso with stopping power rounds. You're still just going to get a hit marker to the stomach with or without stopping power rounds. However, I will mention if you go beyond the standard 1-shot kill range to the upper torso with the Mark II, it will still be a 1-shot kill with stopping power rounds. So essentially, stopping power rounds will extend your range with the Mark II, but it won't extend the areas of the body that are going to be a 1-hit kill. So with that one, it's really up to you to decide for yourself. Generally speaking, I just make sure that I play up close and personal, and therefore stopping power rounds would be useless for me. But if you're trying to pick people off at a bit of a longer range, then maybe stopping power rounds will be for you on the Mark II. Finally, in the Marksman rifles, this leaves us with the Kar 98K, and with this, as far as I can tell, stopping power rounds have literally no noticeable impact whatsoever on this gun. It's a 1-hit kill to the upper torso at all ranges with or without stopping power rounds based on my tests, and that's as good as you're going to get with this gun. Now moving on to sniper rifles, without stopping power rounds, the Dragunov will be a 1-shot kill to the upper torso and up, whereas with stopping power rounds, it's now the lower torso and up, so it extends your 1-hit kill potential down to the stomach, and therefore it's not a terrible choice on the Dragunov at all. As for the HDR as well as the AX50, they both have the same 1-hit kill potential without stopping power, and this is anywhere in the torso and up, so lower torso, chest, and head. That will be a 1-shot kill without stopping power rounds. Whereas with stopping power rounds, all it does is it extends this 1-hit kill potential down to their knees. And personally, this just isn't worth it for me. If you're not hitting them in the torso with these sniper rifles, I think you need to work on your aim. You really shouldn't be hitting them in the legs with these guns. So for me, I'm never going to be touching stopping power for these 2 sniper rifles. And with that, that finally covers it for stopping power rounds in Modern Warfare. I'll just put a quick recap up on screen here so you guys can see which guns I absolutely recommend stopping power rounds on, which ones I'm kind of indifferent on, like yeah, you can use stopping power rounds, it's not amazing, but it's also not horrible to use them on, and then finally the section where I would say just completely avoid using stopping power rounds, because they're either not helping you at all, or they're causing more problems than they really solve. And with that, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about stopping power rounds after seeing exactly how they work in today's video? Has this changed how you use stopping power rounds at all? Was there a particular gun you were using stopping power on that you realized maybe it wasn't doing as much for you? Or are you now going to be swapping to stopping power rounds more often? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.